Hello 8th graders. Hopefully you have your vertebrate chart open for comparison, and today we're going to talk about adaptations for reproduction of vertebrates. And I don't have a lot of notes for you to take, but I just want to point out some highlights of how reproduction has evolved over time. So first of all, if we look over on the left side of the screen, we have our types of vertebrates: fish, amphibian, reptiles, birds, and mammals. And on the right side of our screen, we talk about some of the adaptations for reproduction. My layout doesn't look exactly like your chart does, but as you're typing in your notes that you read from the screen, hopefully you're able to fit it in the information and it fits nicely in your chart. I just wanted it to be visual for you right now. So let's start with fish. As most of us know, fish reproduction is external. It's sexual reproduction, meaning there are both males and females. Fertilization within fish is external. It's very much by chance. Females lay eggs in protective areas. Sometimes, like perch, even build a small nest. They flap their fins over an area of sand and create this hollowed out area in which they lay their eggs. And then male release their sperm cells or milk over the top of these eggs, and if a sperm cell reaches an egg cell, then fertilization occurs. Some sharks actually have internal fertilization. And then as the fish develops, as the eggs develop, they go through a life cycle, including a larva stage that's not very mobile. Fish in this stage do not swim well at all. They kind of flutter, and eventually they develop into adult fish. If we look at amphibians, amphibians also have sexual reproduction, which is external fertilization. Amphibians rely on water for their eggs to develop in. Although they can lay their eggs outside of water, those eggs have to fall into water for them to develop. And amphibians go through metamorphosis as well, like you know with frogs. They have a larva stage, which we know as the tadpole, and then the adult stage, which reproduction occurs. If we look at reptiles, reptile reproduction is internal. Fertilization is internal. Reptiles lay eggs, but they're not limited to reproduction near water because their eggs can survive on land. That special egg is called an amniotic egg, and it's got a permeable membrane which allows gases to exchange so the developing reptile can get oxygen. It can get rid of carbon dioxide. Their eggs are kind of leathery, and you'll see more about the reptile egg in the other video. Then if we look at birds, birds' reproduction is internal. It's sexual reproduction. They have separate sexes as well. And bird eggs tend to be a little bit harder than reptile eggs. And because of this, birds can live in more harsh environments than reptiles. When we get to mammal reproduction, it is sexual reproduction. And some special adaptations that mammals have that enable them better to survive is the whole concept of the uterus and the young being nourished within the mother through the placenta. The uterus is a muscular organ within the female mammals, and the placenta actually develops from the embryo, and it's a thick part of the embryonic sac, and this is where the developing mammal is nourished from the mother. You can find more information about this on Quizlet under the placenta card that we've been studying. After birth, most mammals nourish their young through a mammary gland. The production of milk and mammary glands and the development of the uterus is all controlled by hormones. And hormones are simply chemical messengers that regulate many vertebrates' reproduction. And so hopefully we've got all the notes that we needed to take, and you've learned a little bit about the reproduction of vertebrates. Have a great day, Mrs. A.